Would help if I had my glasses. Hold on. Oh, for goodness sake. There we go. Warning! The following live broadcast may contain loud, obnoxious, shrill, and alarming noises that might be considered disturbing, if not outright uncomfortable. Outright uncomfortable to listen to, especially if you are wearing headphones. Oh my God. I need to get a larger screen. Hold on. I share my office space with an African gray parrot and two parakeets, and I have no control over their behavior while I am live streaming. Unlike my regular videos, where I have the opportunity to edit them out as best as I can. If you are sensitive to loud, surprising background noises, I recommend either not turning your volume up too loud or watching my edited, pre-recorded videos instead. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Hold on. This is okay. There we are. Okay, cool. There we are. Okay. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Oh, my screen looks a little weird. So, welcome to another live stream. As you can see, I'm at the other computer. So usually I'm streaming at those, at least at the last one that I did. So I have a new setup. So now I'm trying to get used to this streaming from this setup, which is at my drawing desk, because we're actually working today. So, welcome. So let me just get my stuff together here. Okay, all right. So yeah, and also it's like I'm working on a much smaller computer, so it's like yeah, I'm still getting used to where everything is right now. So but bear with me, bear with me. So, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I'll let you guys do the math on that one. And I am known for the Funny Animal Fantasy Adventure Tall Tales, which I have right here. This is Volume 1 of Thieves' Quest. Volume 4 will be on Kickstarter sometime in the middle of the year, so keep an eye out for that. But I'm currently known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, EGOMANIACS, Heir of the First Unicorn. You can read both my comics online at talltalesonline.com, TAILS, and egoworks.com. You can see above me right here, EGOWORKS.com. And if you're joining me from Facebook, or you saw my link on Twitter or whatnot. If you're joining me from anywhere else but YouTube, please come on over to YouTube, because there you can subscribe to my channel and check out all my videos on how I make my comics on YouTube, because it's easier that way. At Daphne Lage, LAGE Art. So there we go. Like I said, I'm getting used to this streaming from this desk right here. But so a little news about EGOMANIACS, Heir of the First Unicorn, issue 4. I just want to thank everybody who's supported the campaign up until this point. We are exactly 2 weeks. Well, now we're less than 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Oh my goodness, it just feels so long. We are less than 3 weeks away from the end of the campaign for EGOMANIACS issue 4, and we are over halfway to unlocking the 8-page extra story on the campaign. So we still have to unlock the third trading card stretch goal at 4,000. We still have the sticker at 5,000, and at 6,000 we unlock 8 extra pages that I will be putting in the 4th issue, starting off the I guess the mini series of mini stories called Tales from the Outer Kingdom. So the first story is going to be added to this issue for this Kickstarter only. It's going to be a Kickstarter exclusive. So 8 pages will bring up the total page count for this issue to 40. And like I said, it's only going to be for what's printed for this campaign. If for some reason I have to reprint this issue, the short story is not going to appear in it. So if you want to actually see this short story, get me to 6K. I'll put it in this issue, and then everyone will be able to enjoy that. So that's the thing on that right now. Also, what do we got here? So what do I have here? So some more housekeeping. uh let's see, like I said, it's like I have to find everything again on the smaller screen. So just so everybody knows, me and Nita Lanning have a vlog show on the Region 2 network on Mondays and Fridays. I know it used to be Mondays through Fridays, but we have actual work to do. So we've pared it down to Mondays and Fridays, where on Mondays sometimes we have interviews and campaign reveals on and launch parties. We did a launch party for the Oswald Chronicles, which is also on Kickstarter right now. And then on Fridays, it's more free form conversation. If you missed out on the last episode, check out the last episode we did on Friday, where I shared a link to the only existing fanfic that I wrote that's available online publicly. So yeah, watch that previous episode on the Raging 2 network, Mondays and Fridays at 11 a.m. So just also that you know, my store, I'm still running a 50% off fan art sale. Speaking of fan art, of course, I'm still running a sale on that. So if you haven't picked up anything yet, and you're waiting for something like this, here you go. Here's your 50% off on all my fan art stickers, my fan art sketchbook, anything fan art related is 50% off. And I really suggest, if you're looking to pick something up, pick stuff up before we decide to go to conventions. Because usually these things sell out really quickly at conventions, and until we actually get to another one, you're still able to pick up stuff from my store on at egoworks.com. Just head on over to the link. Head on over to the link to the store and shop to your heart's content, as it is. And also Saturday, I will be premiering a new streaming show. It's going to be a once a month thing, where I will be streaming on Saturdays, 10 at 10 p.m. to midnight. This coming Saturday, where I'll be working on some House of Bob pieces, and whatever else that I need to work on. And like I said, is let's see, what do we have? We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. Thank you, StreamYard. Oh, cancel. Hold on, I don't want to. I'm almost going to kick myself off here. Hold on, cancel. Okay. Hold on. I'm hoping I didn't. Oh no! Fuck. Am I still live? Okay, hold on. All right, okay. StreamYard is acting up. StreamYard is acting up. Where am I? Oh, there we go. And of course, you get to hear an F-bomb on top of it. So, yeah, this is a kind of an awkward streaming situation for me right now. So hopefully, it'll sort itself out. Okay, so yeah, so I think I got everything. So Eagle Raven's still on Kickstarter. House of Bob this Saturday from 10 p.m. to midnight. Let's see. Go to my store. I have a sale going on there for all my stuff. And I think I just got kicked off of Facebook. So on that note, okay. So today I'm going to be working on a piece that I've been very excited to be working on. I was invited by Rob Multari, the creator of Nightwolf, right here, which is a comic book series of the werewolf fantasy persuasion. And I did a Eagle Raven Nightwolf crossover print for him on his last campaign. I think it was for issue 5. I'm sorry if I don't remember correctly, but there's a link to his campaign below in the show notes and in the chat, because Nita was nice enough to hold on to put the the link there. Like I said, everything is kind of slow on my end right there. So so I was lucky. So he invited me to do an Eagle Raven crossover print, which I did, and it proved to be pretty popular. I gained several fans by doing that. So, oh, and my sticker mule package is here, but we can get that later. Uh, so so he invited me again to do another crossover print, and this one was really really special because he asked not only for Eagle Raven to be in this print, but he asked for my my disaster son Loki to be in it. So you don't need to ask me, you don't need to tell me twice if I could do a print for you under those parameters. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Hello, Grant is in the chat too, and I think I caught everybody there. Yeah, so hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining. To 4 people watching, thank you. I hope you're watching from YouTube, or if you're not, come on over to YouTube. Join the sexy people in the chat. And let's see. Oh my God, it features my beautiful children. And it features Nightwolf and Snowpaw, but in her human form. I figure I already did her in a previous print as her werewolf form, so I figure I let the boys shine on this one. So yeah, so as you can see, I already I put in the base inks for it, more more because you can actually see it on the screen. If I had left it blue line, you might have had a problem seeing it, and that doesn't make for a fun show. So or at least I figured it wouldn't. So I put in the base inks for that, so I just have to finish up the inks for this piece. And it's going to be in full color, and it's going to be like I said, it's going to be a crossover print for his campaign. So Rob's campaign launches on the 30th, I think. Again, link in the show notes. That's his pre-launch page. Sign up to get notified when it goes live, but I'm pretty sure it's the 30th. And what's going to happen is the same thing with the previous print from his previous campaign. You have to pledge to both our campaigns to is it acting okay? Is Facebook, is that a Facebook thing? Because if it's just a Facebook thing, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to try to fix anything right now, because it almost kicked me off the stream completely to fix it. So if it's glitching on Facebook, like I said, come on over to YouTube, and you can watch the stream from there. Oh yes, I am still, yes. Okay, hold on. Yes, I am absolutely still drawing people. I finished issues 6 and 7 for Eagle Raven, and those are some peoply issues, I have to say. peoply issues. So, because the thing is though, is that humans are still my weak spot. So the only way to get over that is to keep drawing people. So the more people I add to the comic, the more I get better at it. I mean, that's really the only way to do it. You just got to keep hammering at whatever it is you're having issues with, so that you get over that hump and you make that next step. Yes, I still am drawing people, absolutely. Now I have to. It's like it's drawing people, architecture, and perspective. That those are my 3 weak spots. So I have to figure out that. But again, I keep adding that in the comics to force me to work on that. But this piece though is definitely more in my wheelhouse. So sexy werewolf guys, can't go wrong with that. It's like I can do this blindfolded. so, you know, so so I'm going to be working on this piece, and let's see what we got here. So let's see. So I'll be working traditionally, as always, with my trusty rapidographs, which I always ink with. uh, Yesterday I was on George and Sam's show Catch the Craze, and they were asking if I was eventually going to transfer, like kind of like transition completely to digital. And I told them that I've been trying to do that, but it's not really something I'm like kind of like catching on with at this moment. So I'm kind of thinking it's because my Cintiq, I'm using the 16-inch Cintiq Pro, and now I understand why people buy the giant monitors. Because if I was probably working on a monitor that was as large as the actual piece I was working on, I probably wouldn't have that much issues trying to ink, because my lines would be exactly the way I see them, as opposed to working so like zoomed in, and then when I go to print it out, my lines are still need to be worked on, like they're too thin for print. It's kind of like the whole they look fine on the screen. So so this is so I mostly work traditionally. When it comes from pencils to inks, it's all traditional. But the coloring is going to be digital. Everything else I do digitally. So before I start inking this, so what I did was I printed out the inks to the previous print that I did. So this is it. So this is the inks to the last print from Nightwolf's campaign. This is the Ego Raven Nightwolf crossover, the first one. And because I want to make sure that I keep the inking consistent between the two pieces. Like I really don't remember like how I inked certain areas. The base is always going to be the base, but I want to make sure that my other lines match up. So so that's why I printed this out, so I can keep an eye on it and make sure that everything is consistent between the two prints, because I don't want there to be too much difference. So if you have the previous print, this would just be a natural, like have like a natural flow uh between them, if that makes any sense. So this is so this is pretty much how I start inking. Now the thing is though, I'm taking the thicker pen, and it for a little bit it's going to look like I'm just tracing over the same lines that I have inked already. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use the the thicker line weight to give the illusion of depth in the piece. So I'm going to be like going mostly over the outside lines, not necessarily the inside lines, but just enough to to make it look, just to make the lines pop out a bit more. I mean, you can kind of begin to see how it's beginning to come out. So you can see that there's the difference already in so it looks like, according to StreamYard, Facebook completely pooped out or at least there's a issue with Facebook or watching this on Facebook. So, like I said, if you're watching this on Facebook, or you were trying to watch this on Facebook, it just come on over to YouTube. That way, you can subscribe to the channel. That way, you can hit the notification bell for when I go live with other videos, with more streams, and it's just it's just easier for everybody. Facebook is kind of weird anyway, especially when I have it set up to start, to have a little music in the background. And the last time I did that, Facebook copyright struck my video, even though I have a subscription to Epidemic Sound, which technically is supposed to allow me to use that music. And for some reason, I couldn't fight them on it. So I just end up deleting the video from Facebook. And it's like, okay, if Facebook wants to give me problems, that they can do whatever they want. And do we wait? Oh no, here we are. We're complete. We're official. We're official. Hey, Jake. And of course,
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts guys.
There we go. So we're definitely official with that. Oh boy, this is I am getting some mad lag so on my end. So if my timing's a little off, it's because of that. So welcome. Yes, so we are inking today. We are inking Nightwolf, a Nightwolf Eagle Raven crossover print for Kickstarter. So I am just really hyped for this piece. Honestly, I think this is currently my favorite piece that I'm working on so far, and I have a bunch of pieces I'm working on at the same time. So for those of you who don't know, so what makes this, like I said, what makes this piece special for me is that Rob Multari specifically asked for werewolf Loki in this piece. Now, if you're not familiar with what that means, if you actually follow me on Facebook, I have my own Loki that's canon in Eagle Raven in the series, because I didn't think that Disney or anybody should have all the fun with Norse gods. So it's like, okay, I'm making my own. And they're part of the whole Eagle Raven canon, and Loki especially. And I pretty much made Loki a Facebook mascot at this moment, because that's kind of where it's the only place right now where you can see the artwork and various doodles that I do with this character. And one of the future stories that I'm percolating for, that I'm still, well, not percolating, I have a full outline for the story, so I know what's going on with it. So the story that comes after the 15 issues of Eagle Raven is a story on how she meets Loki. Yes, that Loki, the god Loki. And the premise is that he's trapped in the mortal realm, trapped in a werewolf, well, in a wolf body, in this werewolf body. And pretty much how he has to, I guess, like, navigate being in the mortal realm himself as this, in this form, until he meets Eagle Raven. But the thing is, though, is that he has to kind of like keep his disguise in, well, it becomes a disguise. It technically is. He has to keep this disguise because he's running with a werewolf pack, and they don't know who he is actually. So, and he's not revealing himself to them for reasons that's in the story. So I was playing around more with the idea of Loki as a werewolf, and that's the beauty of the mythology of Loki, because he's a shapeshifter. So whatever I'm feeling like, I can do whatever I want with that character because it's technically part of the mythology. You know, he turns into all these different creatures and whatnot. So, um, you know, so so for a character who I created kind of as a joke slash protest, it seems that he now has his own mini fan base because of the doodles and the stories, the little stories that I post on Facebook. So I was completely chuffed when Rob asked for him in a piece, because in the end it just seems like a natural fit. You know, that these characters would be in the same piece together and fighting and fighting especially. So that's kind of the story behind uh, this this piece. And like I said, I'm very excited to see this finished. I mean, I can see it in my head how it's going to look completely done, and I am just so looking forward to it. I'm probably going to do like a print of it for myself so that I can hang it in the office when I finally get this entire thing redone. Which also explains the different camera angle that I have right now. I'm in the process of a very slow process of redoing my office. It needs painting. I have to fix something with the roof in here, and it's a whole thing. Um, so what you're seeing is pretty much what's left of the office itself. Like I'm literally leaving just enough that shows up on camera. And when I put everything back, I was thinking about like all this artwork that I want to finally put up on the walls. And this is probably going to be one of them. Cause that's how just I'm really, really digging this piece. Thank you. Thank you. It's like the angle of the piece or the angle of the office. But either one is fine. Thank you. Let's see. Yes. I share my office with a parrot and two parakeets. So whatever weird noises you hear in the background are coming from them. Just be lucky that the parrot is not in his smoke detector phase right now, because he has a love for really, really obnoxious noises. So I'm hoping he kind of like he's busy doing other things right now. So I'm hoping that he stays like that for the stream. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I don't. You know what it is to me? It doesn't feel like a den. It feels like an office. It's that's the thing. I mean, technically, JD's office feels more like a den because it's like it's isolated from the rest of the house because it is in the basement and you kind of have to go out of your way to get to it. But my office, it's kind of like a converted porch that leads to a backyard. So it's still pretty much open to the rest of the house. So it doesn't feel private enough for me to call it a den. so, so that's why I call it an office, as opposed to a den. Um, yeah, and really quick, no relevant to anything trivia, useless information type of thing. A cave is an empty den. So I didn't know that there was a difference. So it's like a den is a cave that an animal has taken over and actually lives in. But once the animal leaves, the same area is now a cave. So that's the difference between the two. So if it's a cave, if it's empty, and a den if an animal lives in it. So I guess under those circumstances, I guess with that definition, maybe this would be a den because this animal lives in it practically. So right. So there's like a whole bunch of images that wait, what? well now, but the thing is that now there's a real furry relevance to it. It's like, yes, it's a den technically. um yeah. Oh, so one of the things that I've been like been really like thinking is like, okay, like how am I going to do the walls again when I put everything back? And I really want to have more of my own artwork on the walls. And what's funny is that, like in the past, that wasn't really like a thing for me. Like it was always, I don't know, like, because you know what it is. It's like, it's like I don't really put my stuff on display because I find all the mistakes. That's really the thing. It's like I don't, if I have my own artwork anywhere, like even as a screensaver or anything, if I stare at it long enough, I find all the mistakes. And that's a little stressful after a while. So I usually try to avoid it, but there are just some pieces that I've been doing lately that have just been like, oh, I need to look at this all the time. So, and this is probably going to be one of those pieces that I'm going to put up. I'm going to have nice and framed and all that. Oh, no, it's probably not Epstein. It's Einstein. Einstein's the parrot, not Epstein. We do not have an Epstein in this house. He didn't commit suicide, really. I don't think so. No, that's no. I do not believe that for a second. But that's a different conversation. But yeah, Einstein's the parrot. So yeah, so yesterday it's been a while that since I was inking. Okay, so have so eat well, Jake. Save some for the rest of us. Uh, and yeah, so I was like, it's been so long since I was inking because I was doing so much penciling with the issues that I just was like, when I was putting the base down on this piece, I just took a whole bunch of pieces and just started, because I have a pile next to on my desk of stuff I still need to ink. And I just started going through them when I was inking this piece last night. So at least I have a, I'm getting through my stack slowly so I can get these pieces out. Although I'm telling you though, I was really having a fun time penciling though. I mean, I still have a lot of other things to pencil. Um, it's just, I don't know. It's like I was just really in a penciling mood when I did issue 6 and 7. And now I have to move on to issue 8. And I'm kind of trying to decide how I'm going to go about that. Because I have thumbnails done. I have thumbnails for that. But they're literally tiny. And I can kind of tell what I was trying to do in those thumbnails. So so what I'm debating with myself is whether I should just go straight to page with those thumbnails, or whether I should do half-size thumbnails like I did with a lot of the previous issues, and um kind of like work out the thumbnails better and then go to full size with them. Everything's a process. There is honestly, there is nothing that I do that isn't some kind of process. Because technically I'd be kind of drawing it twice. Although with the layouts, I'm just putting in just a little bit more detail and clarifying what's going into a panel before I put it on the page. Because I know I must have spoken about this before, is the idea of not practicing on the pages, which is kind of like a weird thing to say because um because like I said at the start of the show, if you want to get better at doing something with anything, it doesn't have to be art related, you have to do it over and over and over again. So, like I said before, how I try to get better at things is putting things in my pages that I know are going to be a challenge for me to do. So it's like, honestly, one of the reasons why I even like I specifically did Ego Raven the series the way I did was to draw more people, to force myself to draw more humans. And I think it's finally clicking for me. That's like, oh, it's getting easier and easier to do that. Also, the same thing, like when I was doing the Tall Tales Tears to the Mother, the second story arc, my whole thing in there was to do more environments, to do more backgrounds that looked like an actual environment as opposed to looking like a backdrop. So again, it's like I designed the layouts specifically to force myself to do that. Now the thing is though, is that the fine line is not to practice on the pages. And what I mean by that is planning out what you're struggling with beforehand, like in a sketchbook, and then like kind of like try to get the kinks out in a sketchbook so that when you go to the page you're not completely struggling on it. I mean, in the end you're still practicing. I mean, you're still, you still have to draw it out, but you're not being completely raw on your actual pages or on your actual artwork. So saying that out loud, I figured, yeah, what I need to do is I need to do my half-size layouts, make sure everything is where I want it to be, and then go for the full size pages. What I do is like I usually scan in those layouts and then print out blue lines. I put them in my page template, and then I scan. I have a blue line template, and then I bring in my half-size layouts into that template and then print out the pages so that the blue line layouts are on the page already. So technically, all I have to do is just trace, if that's what, using the term very, very loosely, I might add, because it's just circles and squiggles, but I know at that size what everything is. Um, because if I were to give anybody my layouts just straight to ink, they wouldn't know what they were looking at. So yeah, so that's what I usually do. So then that way I have that foundation on the paper already, so that that's something that I don't have to think about. And sometimes turning off that part of the brain, because you don't have to think about composition, you don't have to think about um, where anything goes. You could just draw. And there's things I've noticed tend to come easier for me in the artwork uh, because of that. So so yeah, the planning. So even in my layouts, I plan so that I can, if this makes any sense, like kind of like pencil mindlessly. And then what that does is that it frees my brain up so that I'm not choking on a piece. If it's I know it's kind of weird to the way that sounds. Yeah, but it's yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just find it funny how Joe is kind of like my biggest cheerleader for drawing humans. I've spent so many years, I mean, literally decades, drawing furries for so long, and I've really, really made it a point these past 2 years to kind of like step up uh, my skill level, and it's just really funny. But the thing is, though, it does open up a lot of avenues, knowing, being more comfortable drawing people. I mean, I know that a lot of my characters I felt blossomed because my skill level made that jump with drawing humans, and I felt more comfortable drawing humans, so I didn't find myself avoiding them. And and yeah, and it's just really funny how that works out. I mean, but yeah, that's what was happening for the longest time, that I had been drawing furries for so long that I was avoiding drawing people. And that's not good. That's not good for an artist to do. um for anything, you shouldn't be, as an artist, you shouldn't be avoiding what what the what's technically a fundamental. It's like drawing people, drawing figures. It's a fundamental. And like I said, making that leap to drawing, like getting better at drawing people, like I said, just opened up more things to me creatively. Jesus. So, um, just like I know that once I really get the hang of like backgrounds and perspective and more architectural elements, that oh hey Aria, hey, thank you for joining us today. We're inking. you know um oh, that's funny, hold on, let me let's see. It's really funny that you mentioned that, Marvi, because for me it's the opposite. I think that drawing women is easy for me. That's just old hat for me. So it's just what it is. It's like I'm finding the challenge in drawing the male figure, the male human figure, and and what's weird is like the trick is is making it masculine looking, if that makes any sense. I mean, because it's like it's kind of like realizing that that the male and female figure really do move differently, and applying that in the artwork. And like I said, so drawing women is really easy for me because I literally know how everything sits, kind of, But drawing men is a little bit more challenging because, like I said, we don't sit the same way. We don't move the same way. We don't stand the same way. I think it's like what we have different centers of gravity. I think too. That's because like there are certain positions that women can do that men can't, and vice versa. So because of that, and so the trick is for me to make sure I get that in the artwork. Um, and also I guess it's an excuse to look at a lot of like, it's like fitness models and stuff. It's reference, I swear. You know, what's really what I like doing is so I like to watch a lot of MMA because of that. And MMA is really fascinating to me to watch because you really get to see in real time um how different bodies move, but not only that, what's considered peak performance. Like what we consider peak performance like in artwork doesn't necessarily translate into the real world, which is really funny to realize that. There was some pictures of like some bodybuilders that I was looking at, and these huge, muscly, like what you would consider a superhero physique, right? But the irony of that physique in the real world is that it's mostly aesthetic. Like actual, like physical athletes, the ones who have to do all the running, jumping, skipping, climbing trees, and all that stuff, right? That it's like, that superheroes, parkouring all over the cityscape type of thing, brooding gloomily or over gargoyles and stuff. It's like the physiques that's needed for that are vastly different than the aesthetic physique that's considered a heroic body. And I watch MMA and you just see just like the vast, like how such a variety of athletic body types, especially when you get to the heavyweights. It yeah, it but at the same time too, you're also seeing how different body types function differently as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. We could do that. We could do that. Now, mind you, it's like I don't pay attention to like names and athletes, like very specific MMA fighters. Like I said, I watch it for the reference and just to watch how these bodies move and the different bodies move. But yeah, but if you want to do that, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Um, and where was I? So yeah, oh yeah, especially when you get to the heavyweights, and then it's like you get to see the limitations that certain body types um actually afford in the fights. So when you get up to the heavyweights, it's like, yeah, it's like they're beating the shit out of each other, but they don't last as long. They tend to gas out easily because of their larger mass. And I think that that's just, from what I've noticed, that's just something that happens no matter how hard they work out. I think that, I guess, because they're carrying more weight, that they don't have the same endurance as you have, on the lightweight to the middleweights. The lightweights are just the opposite. Usually, they're so lightweight, they go all the rounds, however many rounds. I never really pay attention to how many rounds these things are, but they usually go the entire fight without being able to knock each other out, because they're so lightweight. They don't have the force necessary to knock each other out. They have to leave it to the judges, and that's like a cardinal sin in MMA. Never leave it to the judges. But it's very rare to see a knockout in lightweight divisions. Now, of course, your middleweights is where you get the most variety, because that could go either way. Then it with the middleweights, it's like, it depends on the type of training and what they focus on. And yeah, and it's interesting to see, like I said, the different body types that, yeah, and how it differs from what we draw as artists and what it looks like in reality. I mean, yeah, it's really, yes, it's like MMA as reference material. Yeah, it's very important, very important. Um, let's see, where am I? Like, there was a post that I saw that had Hugh Jackman on it, and it was two different magazines. It was, and what they were establishing was what guys think women find attractive, as opposed to what women actually find attractive, comparing these two. So it's like, I think one of them was like muscle and, no, was it Muscle and Fitness? I think it was Muscle and Fitness, and it was Hugh Jackman. I think it was like the second Wolverine movie. I don't know. And it's like, it's like he's all, all practically roided up and what, and dehydrated and veins everywhere. It's like he's really, buffed up. And then on the Good Housekeeping magazine, Hugh Jackman again, except now he looks like someone's dad. He got the sweater on, he's making cookies, he looks like, he looks like he should be like friggin' Hallmark, um those stupid Lifetime movies. It's like, yes, that's where I got, no shame, no shame here, that's where I got most of my reference to. It was a lot of Playboys, a lot of Hustlers, a lot of Victoria's Secret. So like I said, no shame there, no shame. Um you get your reference where you need to. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you can't get to um like a live drawing session with actual models, you have to you have to get it where you can. um and yeah, that's what those magazines ended up being being used for. It's like, I didn't even read it for the articles, I was using it for reference. I had used to collect all of them. Yeah, I used to have piles of them just for me to go through and just, oh, it's like, okay, so this, that, and the other thing. Of course, you have to take into consideration too that it's like, it's heavily airbrushed and photoshopped and whatnot. But then it's like, but in the end, we're doing our own level of, we're taking our own artistic license into making, into our drawings anyway. Um, so, but yeah, but different, yeah, but it's really interesting seeing like the different body types, and like I said, what people consider like what looks proper in artwork is not really feasible in reality. And and it's just funny to see the differences and to realize the differences. That's why in the end it's like, I don't really put too much credence in this whole push to like, oh, everything has to look realistic. Like, oh, it's like, that's not realistic, that's not a realistic body type, that's not this, that's not that. Barbie's not a real, isn't it funny how Barbie got all this shit for unrealistic body types, but He-Man didn't? Isn't that kind of weird? you know Oh, okay. So I just got my top of the hour warning, cuz so let me just let this dry for a little bit. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to show a little love, and then we'll get back to that thought. So yeah, so hold that thought. Hold that thought. Barbie somehow was destroying girls' self-esteem, but He-Man was okay. So let's hold that thought for a minute. So let me go here and show some love, and I'll be right back.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' to the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Okay, I hope that you guys aren't seeing the same lag that I am on my end. It's like I'm running this off of laptop, and it's funny. It's like you buy these things and they seem so powerful when you first buy them, and then after a while it's kind of like they poop out on their own. So yeah, so that was the one of the things that I was thinking about, looking up all these um is the fact that we have people screaming like, oh, this is an unnatural body type and you shouldn't be drawing that way or whatnot. It's like, and look, I have to admit, at a point I was kind of like uptight the same way too. That it's like, especially you see like certain artists, and I've done it too. You shit on certain artists because like their style is just so ridiculous. It's like, how can you possibly think the human body works that way? And especially in these last couple of years, I just like saw so much of this nonsense extending to everything that I just practically became like an absolutist on it. It's like, look, it's artwork, calm down. That's pretty much how I look at it now. That it's like of course it's unnatural because it doesn't exist. It's a drawing, it's a piece of artwork, it's not real, so don't worry about it. It's like if certain artists want to draw women a certain way that they don't even look human anymore, that they're just freaking more like creatures, that's on them. It's like in the end, it's, yeah, do I question how people find that type of artwork attractive? Yes, but in the end it's none of my business. Look, we all have artists we all side eye and go, how are you able to get away with that? And I think that that's just a natural thing that we all go through. But in the end, we just have to kind of get over ourselves and just like, okay, you know what? That has nothing to do with me. Scott J. Campbell drawing a certain way, that has nothing to do with me. It's like, I absolutely abhor Michael Turner's work. But again, it's like that's a me problem. That has nothing to do with anything else. It's like, if you like Michael Turner, you like Michael Turner. That's it. I mean, it's like, that has, my opinion on it has no bearing on the matter. Uh and and it's just yeah, I mean, it's like, so yeah, so and then it's like, so yeah, so I especially learned this watching MMA. If that it's like, it's like, look, if we did everything according to realism, then what's the point in what we're doing? It's like, what we're doing, even at its most realistic, it's still fantasy on a certain level, because it's artwork, it's drawn, it's lines on paper, it doesn't exist. So to demand realism in a format that could never really have it is ridiculous. And the fact that people argue that point realistically is yeah, I kind of don't have the words for it. Because in the end, also, part of fantasy is, it's not me. It's kind of funny. As much as everybody talks about needing to be represented in media, it's like, oh, it's like, unless it's like you're representing me directly, you're erasing me or something. You're saying that I don't deserve to exist. And it's like, one, calm the fuck down. That's not what that means. Okay? That's absolutely not what that means. Um, and and two, I think what people kind of confuse with that is that it's not that I want to be personally represented in media. It's like, do I really? I mean, it's like, honestly, it's like, yeah, it's like, you know what? It's like the whole point of fantasy is not only to escape from my reality, but sometimes, but also like to kind of like escape from me as well. And what it is that we need, that I really want to see myself in, is a story where that I relate to. I relate to the story. I think that's where my inclusion fits in. If that makes any sense. It's like, it's not really the character itself, but the story. And whether the story is something that I can relate to, regardless of who the character is. Again, again, talking as somebody who does have a love for shitty main characters. It's like the Tyler Durdens, the Patrick Batemans, the Caligulas. It's like those are a lot of my favorite characters. Doesn't mean I want to be them, but I find their stories appealing. Um, in a way where it's like I can oddly relate to them. I can strangely relate to them. Or not only that, I can, kind of like be voyeuristic about it. Be like, I can, this is, living vicarious. I can live vicariously through the evil of these characters. I mean, it's like, because we can't be that in real life, or at least you're not supposed to be. But being able to be a villain, to live, to live vicariously through a character and be a villain and enjoy in their villainy. That's kind of where I look for that. I mean, would it be? I mean, representation is such the wrong word. I mean, it's like, I want a story. When I read a story, when I experience a piece of media, I want it to be like relatable. It's like, being relatable doesn't necessarily mean you're representing me. It's just that you're telling a story that I can kind of live through. But even in its most ridiculous, it's like, I mean, look, it Lord of the Rings would not have been a better movie if they had gender bent everybody. And because I think that a big part of Lord of the Rings is the importance of male bonding, male friendships. I mean, and that really sounds odd, but that's what really gets me about Lord of the Rings, is the relationships, these intense relationships that all these male characters have with each other. And ironically, that's the fantasy, because it's very, we live in a society that really doesn't support that type of relationship, relationships, between anybody, really. It's like, you can't be a blind consumer if you have really intense friendships with people, and can get fulfillment from that. So it's not something that's encouraged in society. um and and so yeah, so that's what makes us. So if they had gender bent Lord of the Rings, they would have lost that point of the story. And I don't think that it would have meant as much to me, if they did that. um but the story itself is something that I guess like it's like it's the vicarious living through these characters. Like I was the type that I didn't grow up saying, "Oh, why couldn't Han Solo be a girl?" I just pretended to be Han Solo. Who cares, right? I mean, it's like that's just what I did. It didn't like I didn't want to see a female Han Solo. It's like I wanted to be Han Solo. It's like gender bending Han Solo would have done nothing for me. Yeah. So I think that right. So my point is that relatability. I think people confuse representative with relatability when it's really about the story that you're telling, not necessarily about the characters. Because a good story you should be able to empathize with regardless of who the character is. you know um it's so that's kind of like again, it's like I'm looking I'm looking reading and catching up with Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth, The Hero's Journey, Carl Jung, and his whole philosophy of a collective consciousness. That is why we have, like, every culture that we share similar mythologies. And 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 that's where the relatability comes from, is the fact that we do have kind of like a background, like shared storytelling. um and I think that um dealing, like relating to that is what's important. When you're putting together a story, like with Ego Raven, with my book, you know it's not a story. I mean, it's like I want it to be a story that anybody could read this and relate to her plight, relate to her journey. You know, not feel like, oh, certain things are happening specifically because, I don't know, she's female. And it's like that wouldn't that's not the story that I'm telling. I'd like to think that, because I have all the 15 issues done, so I can kind of say it like this. I hope that I wrote a story that anybody reading it can relate to, because that's the important part. The characters are kind of, they're just the catalyst for, they're the carrier of the stories. But the story itself, you can read and relate to and empathize with. Without the characters, I mean, you're not a dragon, you're not a unicorn, you're not an elf. So it's impossible, to be directly represented in that demographic. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's like, people, they look at, and they look at furry books, or they look, and it's like, well, it's like, how come you don't have this character or that character? And it's like, well, that's not the important part. It's like, well, why do you need what's essentially a story puppet to be a specific thing, if the story itself, I mean, go write your own story, if it's that important to you. You know, it's like, if there's certain things, if you need characters to be a certain way for you to relate to it, then you have to do it yourself. You really do. Because I don't think other creators are capable. Because if you're looking for something that specific, I think it's very unfair Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to help you with that, Aria. You know? Oh, well, okay. So there's your answer. There's your answer. If you feel underrepresented as a dragon, you have to read Eager Raven. There you go. Problem solved. But yeah, but I think it's very unfair to ask other creators to cater to your specificity. You know, if there is something that you absolutely need to see in order for you to um feel included in a story, one, I kind of think you have a very limited imagination. I mean, I know that that sounds kind of wrong, but um it's like, look, I mean, like I said, it's like I relate to a lot of male characters. You know, I relate to a lot of psychotic characters. You know, it's like I don't have to be those characters, you know? So I didn't need I didn't need them to specifically look like me or be me in order to relate to them. So yeah, so I think that that represents a very limited imagination. And then, like, on top of that, it's like it's such an unfair burden to put on somebody because it's a trap. You're never going to get it right. It's like, because it's like, you know, you can try, because it's like you can try to cater to specific identity all day long, and you're never going to get it right. They're always going to point out how you got certain things wrong, or this is wrong, or that's not reality, and blah blah. And then it's like, and then what are you doing? And then it's like, what, you're catering to people who didn't give a shit about your work anyway. You know, because it's like, why are they bothering you when there's plenty of people that they can go looking for to find the work they do want? Or again, they could do it themselves if they really needed to be hyper specific about it. Um, I mean, or granted, it's like, if you're a werewolf, if there are any werewolves in the audience, obviously you are very, very represented in this artwork that I'm working on right now. So at least, you know, we have that out of the way. We have that cleared up. You know, I mean, I mean, how ridiculous does that sound, really? Um, and yet we have people who are demanding that same thing from creators. And it's like, no, reality has nothing to do with anything. It really doesn't. There was this one guy who posted up, I don't know, some game had come out, and this guy had done a Photoshop redo of, I guess, like the main female character, or one of the female characters, and he pretty much gave her a glam job. You know, it's like, you know, a bridal glam job. You know, it's like, you know, he put sparkles in her eyes, he cleared up her face tone, he made her smiling and took out the wrinkle. I mean, it's like, so where the game was trying to be realistic, he gave the character a glow up, pretty much. And the poor guy got shit all over the internet for it, you know, because it's like, oh, you know, it's like, you know, you only want women to look a certain way, and this, that, and the other thing, and you know what he did was sexist, and whatever. And it's like, look, we live in a society that regularly, with a media that regularly points their cameras at the Kardashians and calls them natural beauties, right? I mean, these are people with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of plastic surgery and makeup and everything. And the media keeps hammering it in our heads that these are natural beauties. Of course, this guy is not going to know what a glam makeup job looks like. You know, it's like, of course not. You know, there was like this picture of Rihanna. She was, I think she was video vlogging something or whatnot. She was on a, and people were passing around going, "Oh, that Rihanna was a natural beauty." Like, "Oh, look at what it looks like when a woman's not wearing makeup." Meanwhile, she has winged eyeliner sharpened to the gods. And it's like, no, you guys just don't know what natural makeup looks like. But I can't blame people for not knowing that. I can't blame a guy for not knowing that. Because it's like, again, we're inundated with a media that tells us that this is what natural looks like, when it's far from even close to being natural. That's why everybody freaks out when they see celebrities literally without makeup. Oh my God, are you sick? No, you're not wearing makeup. You just don't know what a person without makeup looks like. And this goes for the guys too, mind you. It's like, especially when, like, you look at the same video games where they have like the grungy looking, post-apocalyptic guy looking like Keanu Reeves. It's like, honey, that's all fake too. That nobody's going to be looking like that in the post-apocalyptic world. So yeah, so it's just really funny how again, the arguments for realism in a medium that it's impossible to have. Like I said, everything we do is made up. You can be writing, you can be writing the most realistic comic, or drawing the most realistic comic, and it's still fantasy because it doesn't exist. Yeah. So, see you later, Marvy. See you later. you know, um, that's it's like that's the weird thing. I think this has. Yeah, it's funny. It's like, I think that, Joe is saying, funny how people sexify men up all the time, but if you do that to a woman, there's a problem. And I think that also has to do with the fact that what women find attractive and what men find attractive, or what men think women find attractive, are two different things. Because, like I said, Lord of the Rings, brilliant casting. Holy crap. That was some sexy casting. But but again, on muscle and fitness, you get Hugh Jackman all dehydrated with all his muscles bulging. But like how the John Wick look is hot right now. It's like but then again, it's like, what's funny is that it's sexy because it's Keanu Reeves. Because if a real guy was supposed to would try to look like that, he'd be dismissed as a bum. So there was what is it? There was this movie. I don't know what it was, but it was at the height of Chris Evans. I guess he's really hot right now type of thing. And he was in this movie, and he was supposed to be playing some kind of tech nerd on a heist. I forgot the name of the movie. But there was this scene where he's changing, he's getting undressed in an elevator. And it's the gag is that the elevator opens up and he's in the elevator in his underwear, and all these women are standing in front of the elevator waiting for it. And here he is standing in the elevator. And so, of course, everybody is staring at him because it's, he's in his underwear. And all the women are like, and then as the door closes, you see all the women trying to still keep looking at him. And I thought it was the stupidest scene, because the only reason, the joke in that scene is that the actor is Chris Evans in his underwear in the elevator. Because if it was just a regular ass guy in his underwear in an elevator, trust me, the reaction from those women would have been completely different. Trust me on that. So the fact is that they're trying to make it sound like that, that if a guy is just standing in there in an elevator in his underwear, that women are just gonna stop and like, ooh, I'd fuck that guy. No, you fuck Chris Evans. That's the difference. That's the only way the scene would have worked. Is it the perfect score? Is that it's like I said, it was a really, really dumb scene. But you see, but that's the only way that scene works. If you understand the joke that it's Chris Evans in his underwear, not some random ass guy, tech guy in his underwear. Yeah. So yeah, the fantasies are specific too. It's like, what the heck am I even talking about? I don't even remember what I'm talking about. Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. So yeah. So the moral of the story is that realism in artwork is something that people really have to get over and stop demanding it in it, because it's impossible. It's not going to happen. Just let artists do whatever they want, and just understand that that's exactly what's happening. We're doing what we want, and you have to find the artists that you want to support. Don't bother me for drawing a certain way. Don't bother. It's like, don't bother all these other artists for drawing a certain way. It's like, go find the artists that are drawing what you want to see. Because and mind you, and just come to the conclusion that if you can't find that artist, you need to do it yourself. You either need to do it yourself, or you need to pay somebody to do it for you, or you need to shut up about it. Because there really does come a point. There really does, where it's like, some people are not worth catering to. Let me just put it to you like that. There are certain personalities that are just not worth catering to. What it is that they're loud and obnoxious and think they're doing an activism because they're bitching on Twitter, but they wouldn't support you for shit. They wouldn't spend a dime on your work. They'll bitch up your ass about it, but they won't spend a dollar on your stuff. So let's see. Do I take commissions for it? Not at the moment. Not at the moment. I'm a little swamped right now, so my commission list is closed. My public commission list, that is. So when I am able to open that up again, I will announce it, because I do have a small list of people waiting for me to open up commissions again. So, but like at this moment, I'm not. I don't have any openings right now. But yeah, so it's like, so always keep that in mind, that it's like you can have people screaming at you, why aren't you doing this, why aren't you doing that? And the question I would have is, why aren't you doing it? If you're that specific on your needs, why aren't you doing it? Because you obviously have a need that maybe you need to go out of your way to find something. So yeah, so that's that's yeah, and it's like, what we were talking about, body types, right? We were talking about body types. Yeah. Yeah, but really though, it's like Yeah, I think what it is too is that this whole call for like realism is also stems from the fact that it's also a type of laziness too, where people don't want to use their imaginations, and they kind of resent people who expect them to use their imaginations. Um, that's yeah, that's the weird thing that I've noticed. Um, that yeah, that I don't know. It's just really strange that it's like that they want everything kind of like brought down to their level. And when I'm when I'm doing or I'm enjoying fantasy or whatnot, um, I don't I want fantasy. I want my fantasy to be kind of like almost impossible. You know, it's like I want it to be. I don't want it to be normal. That's what it is. It's like I don't want, it's like, oh, I could do that. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be able to do that. Whatever happens, it's like, look, I'm never going to be a witcher. I don't want to be a witcher, you know, but I'll watch that all day. I mean, that's kind of the point. I don't want witchers to be normal. That's the whole point. Um, and I think that that kind of goes hand in hand with the whole neutering of superheroes or just heroes in general, heroes and villains, where it's like, I've talked about this plenty of times because it is a pet peeve of mine, where it's like media is just like removing all the, oh, everybody's the same, you could be that. It's like, how every Marvel character now is in therapy. It's like if you watch enough of the shows, every goddamn character's in therapy. And I'm like going, what, how is that appealing? How is that a thing? Why do people want to see superheroes in therapy? Like I don't it's like, why? Because you're not in therapy? So you're projecting onto these characters. I mean, um I don't know. It's a lot of just like really strange discourse from people who probably should not be listened to, as far in my opinion. Um, you know, um, yeah. More of the story. It's like don't bother artists, for God's sake. Don't bother artists. Let them draw what they're going to draw, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much that simple. You would think, right? And if you're the type that you feel the need that you have to like, attack artists for drawing stuff you don't like and whatnot, it's like, holy crap. It's like maybe you're the one that needs to go to therapy. Not Marvel characters. Maybe you need therapy if you feel that you have to attack an artist for drawing something you don't like. I mean, how weird is that? I see that so much on Twitter, and it's like, what's wrong with you? These are like, and they're talking about cartoon characters like they're real. And that I find disturbing. I mean, it's like they're defending, like they're attacking real people to defend the honor of cartoon characters that don't exist. How insane is that? But somehow they're the ones that they want to be, they consider themselves the normal ones. I highly doubt that. And also here's the thing too. As artists, there comes a point where we have to decide whether any type of criticism is worth our while. And yeah, and I'm talking about criticism. I'm talking about the your shit sucks type of thing. I'm talking about all that. That there just comes a point where you have to decide as an artist whether you give a shit about people's opinions about your work. There really does come a point. Because, it's kind of like, I guess to put it, this is probably a bad analogy, but it's the only one that I'm coming up with right now. It's like nobody needs to be told that they need to lose 10 pounds. You know what I mean? It's like we all kind of know that. So it's like most of the time an artist already knows where their weak spots are. They already know what they need to improve on. So to have randos on the internet kind of like insist they're doing you a favor by telling you over and over and over again that your shit sucks because you don't know X, Y, and Z, that's not useful to you. It's like, that already. Like, okay, so it's like, I'll have somebody say, it's like, oh, it's like, you don't know how to draw people. Yeah, I know. You don't know how to draw backgrounds correctly. Yeah, I know. You don't know how to do that. It's like, I know that. I'm working on it. It's like, I'm just not there yet. And I know. So yeah. So it's like, so if you have anybody, coming at you for, it's like, oh, your stuff's not realistic, or that's not, or that's not realistic, or you're drawing the wrong body type, or this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, I know. And I don't really care. I'm working on it or not working on it. And you see, that's the thing too, because it's like there are artists who kind of like they've turned their mistakes into a marketable style. And that sounds like so wrong too. That sounds so wrong to say. But it's like there are just some artists who draw a certain way, and all the criticism that we're doing, all the criticism's not going to stop it. It's kind of like, I guess the easy example is Rob Liefeld. Oh boy, did that guy eat shit. He ate shit for the entire 90s. He was like the laughing stock of comics. But at the same time, he was, the same people laughing at him were making him a millionaire too. So I don't know how that works. Jake, we're always still going. We got 2 hours to fill. I'm always still going. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the artwork along with the commentary along with the artwork too. So yeah, so that was like it's like, for a guy people hated, they also made him a millionaire too. So, so definitely your mileage may vary. But as an artist, there comes a point where you have to decide whether you give a shit or not, to put it bluntly. It's like, because the saying, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and boy, do they love showing it on the internet. So, But yeah, but in the end, though, it's like, I'm not even going to preface all that with saying it's like, oh, as long as you don't draw anything like illegal and shit, It's like, you know what? Look, draw the fuck whatever you want. I mean, it's like, you know what? It's like art is art. And you know what? Anything that can even hint at at another Mike Diana is just bone chilling. Okay? It's like, no, it's like, it's kind of like artistic freedom really is an all or nothing thing. It really is. Is there going to be artwork people are doing that I absolutely wish didn't exist? Yes. Always, always. People are drawing shit right now at this moment that I wish they wouldn't. But they're doing it anyway. But at the same time, again, it's just lines on paper. It's not a real thing. So I may not want to see it. I mean, movies are not a real thing. Okay? It's like movies are just as fictional and make believe as artwork. It's just that you're using real people to portray these stories, but people are not really getting murdered in movies. People are not really doing things in movies. And they're just as fake. It's like, but what do I do? It's like, I just watch the movies I want to watch and don't watch the movies I don't want to watch. I mean, I don't understand why people have a problem with this concept. So, yeah, does everything have an equal value? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm not going to say it's not supposed to exist either. I mean, it's like, look, Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, Texas versus Castillo, a book that I literally worked on, almost sent a man to prison. It was Demon Beast Invasion. It was a whole crew of us working on the manga, working on the Amerimanga adaptation of Demon Beast Invasion. And a retailer almost went to prison for that. I mean, he got his life destroyed because a district attorney got a bug up his ass about our work. And that's the thing. It wasn't the work that destroyed this man's life. We didn't destroy this man's life. A district attorney with a bug up his ass did. And the artwork was just an excuse. But the artwork's not real. That's the thing. It's like what happens in these books. The guy was offended from, it's like, look, you know what? I don't give a shit. I really don't care if it offends you. Okay? It's like, it's a hentai book that we were working on. And you know what? This guy got offended at it and he made it everybody else's problem. It was only by fate, by absolute fate, that we didn't get dragged into this. That we didn't get dragged into that whole mess. Absolute fate. But in the end, it wasn't our issue. That wasn't our problem. We're not the ones who did that. This guy, again, got a bug up his ass and decided to make it everybody's problem. And so that's why I'm absolutely hesitant to say that certain things shouldn't exist. That artists have to like censor themselves. That we're supposed to be doing shit for the good of society. No, I'm doing shit because I want to do it. Society has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm honestly, it's like I'm pretty much an absolutist about this. I Because you know what, I have to be. I really do, because the people who make this an issue, they don't stop at one thing. You're just the easy target right now. And it makes it easier to go after the next target and the next target and the next target. And that's the slippery slope that everybody wants to talk about, but not quite understand what a slippery slope is. It's like, first, it's like they went after, the 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 women who like to do the yoi comics, right? And then all of a sudden they started going after people who did pinups. And now they're going after whoever is doing fan art that they don't like. It's just like it doesn't stop. They just try to choose the next easiest target to go after, to be able to move down that list. And then it's like, just today there was a post about someone lamenting that women in furry fandom don't exist because most of the time they're not family friendly. And I'm like going, why the fuck is that my problem? And it's like, for some reason, because we don't fit this stereotype that this person is looking for in the fandom, that we don't exist. That it's like, oh, because we shouldn't exist, according to them. Because, and the thing is that there was no clarification as to what even that meant. Family friendly female furry artists. Say that 5 times fast. And it's like, you know what? It's like, I've never heard it's like I've never heard that applied to a male furry artist. It's like, back when I was in fandom, I got reamed constantly for ruining the fandom. It's like, bitch, your shit was broken when I showed up. Even though I had, and pretty much in all ages, I was doing at the time an all ages furry fantasy book that they could give a shit about, but they wanted to be up my ass about all the furry porn I was doing. And it's like, look, you don't get to bug me about this shit when Steve Martin, not the actor, that the furry fandom staple at the time, Steve Martin is sitting right there, but you're up my ass about it. It's like, yeah, not a coincidence who they went after, by the way. That's that's a different discussion. Not a coincidence who they went after. Thank you, Jake. Thank you. Oh, it's like, oh, I lost it. Here it is. Yeah, drawn lives don't matter. It's a fucking drawing. Get over yourself. I mean, for real. It's like, lines on paper. It's like, really. Yeah, this happened in the 90s. This happened I think like in the probably like the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. Like I said, we literally have a page on the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund website, Texas versus Castillo. The book that they mentioned in that The Fallen, that's our book. That's the book, the series that we were working on. That did that whole thing. Yeah. So there's so it's like, yeah. So the whole idea is like family friendly furry female artists. It's like, you know what, bro? I'm not interested in catering to your baby ass. How about that? You know, it's like if you feel alienated um because I'm not playing a fucking fandom mommy role for you. Sorry, not sorry. You know? I don't even know how I got into that part. Oops. Oops, it got personal. Well, that escalated quickly. You know, so yeah, so I guess it's like my yeah, so I guess it's like there yeah, people are gonna come, these assholes are gonna come after you no matter what. Look, they'll even make shit up if they have to. So in the end, it's like just draw what you're gonna draw, and don't worry about the screaming 5 people on the internet, because in the end, that's what they are. They're the same 5 people on the internet with like 37 sock puppet accounts. You know. So yeah, so in the end, it's like yeah, so that's kind of that's kind of how I feel about things. uh, yeah, so yeah. Oh man. But yeah. Well, yeah, and but that's the thing. It's like, yeah, offense by drawings is made up in the mind, right? Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like, so in the end, being offended at something is a you problem, not a me problem, because it's like, oh, thank you very much. I try to fake it as much as I can. Thank you. um, yeah, and that's the thing, and it's like yeah, it's like these people, they wake up miserable and and impotent and ineffectual in their lives, and they want to make it everybody's problem, and they're not going to go out and actually do something important in their community. They're not feeding the homeless, they're not canvassing for candidates, they're not no, they're arguing with artists on the internet and calling it an activism. That's what they're doing. And it's like, yeah, there really does come a point where it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't care. It's like, if you don't want to like my artwork for one thing or another, that's on you. And just like, like I said, there are artists that I absolutely abhor, but it's like, you know what? That's a me problem. It has nothing to do with anybody else. So yeah, so I guess moral of the story is just ignore the people calling for the importance of realism in artwork, in comics, because that's just stupid. That's just absolutely stupid. I mean, I'm just going to say it for what it is. It's a stupid hill to die on. Realism in artwork. It's like, it's like, do you know who likes to really control the output of artists and artworks? Fascists. That's who likes to do that. Totalitarian governments do that. That's what they like doing. The first people they go after are artists, are the creative class. Where all of a sudden artwork, the term deviant art. It's like the Nazis latched on to that shit for a reason. So it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah. So when I start hearing people talking about deviant art, and not the website, by the way, They're talking about deviant art and deviant artists. Yeah, you be sounding like a Nazi, bro. Now, hate to break it to you, you a Nazi. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, we're drawing porn for the science. It's for science. No, yeah, no, I agree. I draw porn for it's like, look, it's like, and also that's another pet peeve too. People who draw horny artwork and won't admit to it. Those people really need to get over themselves. You're drawing all horny and then get upset, when people say, why are you drawing horny art all the time? Just, it's like, because it's like, because yes, I mean people to be horny over this artwork. Thank you. How astute. But again, that's another pet peeve and another conversation. Oh, hello, Connery. Hey, Connery. Yeah. So okay. So we're just hitting the top of the second hour. So this is what I got so far today. You can see, I'm sure you guys can see the difference between what I started off with and how it's coming out now. So I'm going to finish the inks on this when, after the live stream is done. It's just that there's other things that I have to, which is why I just don't continue the live stream. And also, it's like, it's not good to sit in the same spot for too long, because it's like, then it's like my hip starts hurting and it's not healthy. So I need to move around a bit. Yeah, I probably could, which is why, yeah, it's like I probably could, which is why I try to limit these shows, the live stream to the 2 hours. And the reason why me and Nita keep our shows to an hour, because yeah, I could probably go all day and it's like we have things to do. We have other things to do. Like I still have to finish this, but let's see. And right, exactly, Jake. I mean, really, like I said, that could be an entirely other conversation that we can have on another stream, because that is really a pet peeve of mine. So yeah, so let's see. Uh, let's see. So where are we doing here? Yes. So okay. So there you have it. I guess I didn't need to play my music. I actually was able to, I don't know, to rant about something for 2 hours while I was inking. So, like I said, I'm going to finish this piece and see if, I can get this, get the inks done and then get the coloring started, because like I said, I'm dying to get this piece finished. It's going to be hot, it's going to be fuego. Oh, I entertained myself. So yeah, so and I will definitely when the Robert's campaign for Night Wolf launches, that's when you'll see the finished piece. So make sure you follow the link in the show notes and in the chat, so that you can follow the Night Wolf campaign, get notified when it's launched. And like I said, if you pledge to both Eagle Raven and Night Wolf, you will get a print of the finished piece as well. So if you're interested in seeing more of my artwork and just following me in general, although not really, not actually following me, because that's weird. You just, are following me on social media. You can head over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly post to Facebook if you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress, all my doodles with my characters in it, some little story times. It's like, yeah, I tend to post a lot of stuff on Facebook if you're interested in like following me creatively, I guess. But yeah, so, and you can also follow me on YouTube. Again, hit the button, subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video or do a new live stream. So, so really quick, we have you can check me out with Nita Lanning every Monday and Friday on the Rage and 2 on our vlogs. An hour-long free form discussion about social media marketing, about crowdfunders, about uh, whatever is art related that you might be interested in, or maybe not interested in, but maybe you just like listening to our voices for some reason. So you can catch us Monday and Fridays 11 a.m. Eastern on the Rage and 2 network. Again, join me on Saturday night. This coming Saturday night, 10 p.m. to midnight. I will be in my pajamas. I will try to stay awake to get work done. House of Bob drawing night stream. I even have a topic that we can try to discuss as well, because it's like, it's not always about drawing horny artwork, but that's what you're coming to the live stream to see. So join me on the House of Bob drawing night stream this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. All times are Eastern. Again, check out my store where I have my fan art stuff at up to 50% off. I do have some discounted sketchbooks as well and everything, so check that out and pick up stuff before we start doing conventions again, because these things are really popular at conventions, and once they sell out, I am not reprinting anything. So if you're looking to get anything, get it while they last. And last but not least, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is on Kickstarter. Issues 1 through 4. We are 3 weeks away from the end of the campaign. We still have some cool stretch goals to unlock, including the 8-page additional story that I will be adding to the book. And for those of you who don't know what this is, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, is a story of a unicorn princess exiled into the mortal realm after she is betrayed by her elf prince husband-to-be. Dragons overtake her kingdom, and how she trains to become a knight, hoping she can win a king's favor and save her people. Will Eagle Raven find the strength to tap into the unknown power within her and regain her kingdom? Will she be able to return to her life as a future queen? Or will she find herself pulled back into a human world she was initially forced into? It is a mature audience's telling of the classic hero's journey with a soap opera twist, featuring character relationship-centered stories in a fantasy setting with unicorns, elves, dragons, furries. You know how I love to give you what you actually want. So there you have it. So there you go. So check me out on all my socials, and also don't forget to sign up in the link below, where you get $40 worth of free comics as downloadable PDFs just for joining my mailing list, where you can keep updated with everything that I'm doing, all my live streams, all my shows, all my videos, and all my work, and whatever it is you need to know, I want you to know about, you will know about it in this newsletter. So thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for taking the time to share in the chat. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks everybody watching. Like I said, subscribe, come on over to YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you I'll see you guys on Friday, and I'll see you guys especially Saturday night. So that's it for me. And that's pretty much it. Let's see. What should we go out on? You know what? Classic stuff. Let's do classic. So I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.
Hear me. The Thorn Valley Plan is the aspiration of idiots and dreamers. We were just talking about you.
That's refreshing, Jenner. Usually you're screaming about us.